My sister's baby shower invitation included a note. Gifts should be a minimum of $5,000. When I showed up with a $50 Target gift card, my mom announced to everyone, "Some people just don't appreciate family." The room fell silent. I smiled, took out my phone, and canceled the $380,000 down payment I had promised for their dream house. When the realtor called them 20 minutes later, "Hey, Reddit." The invitation came on a Tuesday afternoon, not in a colorful envelope filled with excitement, but like a bill. A cream cardstock with gold lettering, minimalistic and cold, and at the bottom, bold and impossible to miss, "Gifts, $5,000 minimum." I stared at it longer than I should have. $5,000 for a baby shower, not a wedding or fundraiser, just a baby shower. I let out a short, disbelieving laugh, then stopped when I realized it was no joke. My sister Olivia had always lived this way, not out of cruelty, but because she was enabled. She was the child who never heard the word no. Her wants were always treated as needs. She learned early that if she asked loudly enough, someone else would pay, and that someone was usually me. My parents called it helping family. I called it survival. No one else openly complained about the gift amount because everyone understood the unspoken truth. If you couldn't afford it, you weren't truly invited. The guest list was about money, not love or support. Somehow, no one found that troubling. Olivia and her husband weren't struggling. They had jobs, nice cars, and vacations that showed up on social media every few months. But they wanted a bigger house, something impressive for the baby. When the topic of money arose, everyone looked to me because I was the responsible one, the successful one, the one who always seemed to land on her feet, which apparently meant I was expected to cushion everyone else's falls. Months earlier, during a family dinner, the house discussion came up. Interest rates, down payments, timing. Olivia sighed dramatically. "We'll never get approved at this rate." My mom looked at me and said, "You've always been good with money." That statement carried weight. I offered to help, not recklessly or casually, but with a partial down payment of $380,000, money I had saved slowly and carefully without assistance. They cried, hugged me, and thanked me for about 5 minutes before it became expected. The venue looked like a wedding hall, with white linens, gold accents, and a dessert table that probably cost more than some people's rent. I walked in alone, no grand entrance, just me holding a small envelope. I felt eyes immediately flick to my hands, scanning and measuring. My mom noticed and tightened her lips, saying, "Nothing. Not yet." I hadn't brought the card to embarrass anyone. I brought it to set a boundary. Babies don't need luxury. They need care, stability, and presence. I was done proving my love with money, while gifts piled up like trophies at the front. My mom stood up and tapped her glass, quieting the room. Her voice was calm, rehearsed. "I just want to say something," she began. I felt that familiar tightening in my chest. "Some people," she said slowly, "just don't value family." She paused to let it sink in, her eyes shifting toward me. The room froze, no gasps or laughter, just shock. Everyone knew who she meant. I felt heat rise, not embarrassment, but clarity. This wasn't about a gift. It was punishment for not buying a car, for setting boundaries, for refusing to quietly fund entitlement. They wanted me to feel small and to apologize. I smiled, not sarcastically or nervously, but calmly. I reached into my purse and pulled out my phone. My mom frowned. Olivia looked confused. No one spoke. I opened my banking app, scrolled, and found the pending transfer, $380,000 for Olivia's down payment. I stared at it for a moment, reflecting on the note in the invitation, the public humiliation, the assumption. Then I canceled it. Just like that, I slipped my phone back into my purse, stood up, picked up my coat, and spoke. "I do value family," I said evenly, "but I don't fund entitlement." Then I walked out. I sat in my car when my phone buzzed. Not from Olivia or my mom. When the realtor called my sister to explain the down payment was gone, everything they thought was guaranteed began to crumble. They didn't realize it yet, but once I walked out of that baby shower, everything they were counting on started to fall apart. I didn't drive away right away. I sat in my car with the engine off, hands resting on the steering wheel, listening to the muffled sounds of laughter and music coming from inside the venue. The party continued. Cake was being cut, gifts opened. People pretended nothing had happened. They still thought I would cool off and call, that I would explain myself. They had no idea my decision was already final. I opened my banking app again, not out of doubt, but to see it for myself. The transaction status was clear. Cancelled. Funds returned, $380,000 back where it belonged. I exhaled slowly. For years, I had associated that money with guilt and obligation. Now, it felt like freedom. My phone buzzed, Olivia. I watched it ring and let it stop. Then my mom, then my dad. They weren't calling to ask why. They were calling to regain control. When I finally answered Olivia, she didn't pretend. "What did you do?" she hissed. "The realtor just called me." I kept my voice steady. "I withdrew my contribution." She laughed sharply. "You can't just do that." I corrected her. "I just did." "You promised," she snapped. "We already told the sellers." I leaned back in my seat. "That sounds like a conversation you should have had with yourself before humiliating me in public." She scoffed. "You're really doing this over a stupid comment." I closed my eyes. It wasn't a comment. It was a declaration of how you see me. She fell silent for a moment, then tried a different approach. "This affects my baby." That nearly worked. I pictured the unborn baby, unaware and already being used as leverage. "No," I said slowly. "This affects your lifestyle, not your child." Her breathing became sharp. "You've changed." I smiled faintly. "Yes, I have." My mom called immediately after, her voice tight and trembling. "Do you know how humiliating this is?" she asked. "People are talking." I replied calmly. "They were already talking when you chose to shame me in front of them." She gasped. "I was just being honest." I nodded. "So was I." She sighed dramatically. "You're punishing us." I corrected her. "No, I'm protecting myself." There was silence on the line. That silence wasn't confusion, it was realization. By the next morning, the situation escalated. The sellers were upset, the realtor was scrambling, and the loan officer wanted explanations. Suddenly, Olivia was having conversations she had never prepared for, and my parents understood they couldn't charm their way out of this. They asked to meet with all three of them. I agreed, not because I owed them anything, but because I wanted to clearly express my thoughts once. We met at my parents' house. Same table, same chairs, different power dynamics. My dad spoke first. "You embarrassed your sister." I didn't argue, matching the tone Olivia had set. My mom crossed her arms. "This isn't how family behaves." I leaned forward. "Family doesn't put price tags on love." No one interrupted me, so I continued. "I helped because I wanted to, but the moment you treated my help as an obligation, you lost access to it." Olivia scoffed. "You're acting like we used you." I met her gaze. "You did." The room fell silent. No one denied it or corrected me because they couldn't. The house deal collapsed completely, not just delayed but gone. They had to lower their expectations, adjust their plans, and face consequences without my safety net. Interestingly, they stopped demanding and began asking carefully. I still go to family events, but I don't fund them. I give gifts when I choose and help when I want to. No one jokes about my money anymore or publicly announces expectations because they know that baby shower wasn't about a gift. It was about entitlement meeting resistance and resistance winning. The moment I stopped mistaking obligation for love was the moment my life became lighter. Generosity offered freely is beautiful, but demanded generosity is just another form of control. Once I reclaimed my power, they finally learned the true value of family. This story reminds us that generosity should never be demanded or shamed publicly. Real family support comes from respect, gratitude, and boundaries, not entitlement. Saying no doesn't make you selfish, it makes you honest. That's all for today. If this story resonated with you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more real-life stories. Thanks for watching.